Hello, I'm Pastor Stanley, and I want to welcome you to Growth Track today. And thank you so much for taking time out of your life to schedule in and make a point to be at Growth Track. It's a revolutionary time that's going to change your life. And thank you for coming to hear the story of how Freedom Life Church was started, how it was birthed, what God did in this amazing church to see lives changed for His glory. And it's a great place for people and you today to connect, to meet leaders. We got some of the greatest leaders in the world. I'm excited about you meeting this team of leaders. And so our hope is that it's fun, that it's informative, and that you can hear the heartbeat of God, our heartbeat in Growth Track. So thank you so much for coming. I want to start out telling you a little bit about my and my wife's story in our lives. And we met in high school. We were high school sweethearts. We dated about 3.5 years and got married at a very young age. I was young. I was 20, but I know it's bad, but my wife was 17 years old, and we're from Arkansas, so it was okay. But her dad had to sign for her, and anyway, we got married, and we've been married for 36 wonderful, amazing years. I have the greatest wife in the world. And so, we grew up, as I said, got married. She started teaching at our Christian school at 19 years old. She would teach in 27 K4s in one little small room in a house there at our Christian school. I was plumbing, doing jobs, trying to find my life. I knew I had a call of God on my life. We both did, but her dad was a master plumber, and I was working under him and with him. And so there came a time when I had to make a choice to pursue the call of God in ministry or continue in a second career. And we knew God had called us into ministry. But when we got married in 1985, we started pastoring our first church. It was in a town of Luann, Arkansas. Luann had 109 people in the town. When we went there, the church was so dead. It was only 3 old people going. But in about 4 years, the church grew to where it was running 70 to 80 people in a town of 109 people. And so God really blessed us. We grew so much. At that time, we went to Bible school. We graduated, and then we were put over the Bible school there at our home church in Camden, Arkansas. We pastored the small church, worked under Pastor Abels for about 14 years. We moved, left the church in 92 after a lot of prayer and seeking God, and we went on staff there at the church in Camden. We were made associate pastors a few years later. And in 1998, after 14 years of being with Pastor Abels and serving him and the vision there, we just knew God was stirring something in our hearts, that He wanted us to pastor our own church, to step out in faith. And so that's what we did. We started praying, and I went on a 21-day fast, just seeking the Lord for His direction in our life. And God opened a door to Natchitoches, Louisiana. And we had never heard of Natchitoches, Louisiana, and definitely didn't know how to spell Natchitoches. We knew how to spell Louisiana, but not Natchitoches. And so we moved to Natchitoches in 2000. Our oldest son was 14. Our daughter was 12. Our youngest son was 3.5 years old. And we were here took the church over. It was a small church also, about 13 people. But in about 4 years, the church grew to over 300 people with kids and youth and adults. So after several years of ministry in 2006, a lot of stuff in my life, there was some real problems that I had from, in my life growing up. And they surfaced. And so I got very physically sick, emotionally sick, spiritually sick. And we left the ministry and we moved to Shreveport. And we went under Pastor Sam Carr. And God used him and his ministry, and God's grace just restored our lives. And it was a wonderful time there. And we were praying. We didn't know what to do. But God began to call us back to Natchitoches, and we moved back in 2007 after 9 months of being gone and out of ministry. And there was a wonderful group of people that God had here that felt like we were their pastors, and they prayed for us, they helped us. We moved back and we started services in the event center. God birthed Freedom Life Church out of a mighty move of God's grace and restoration in our lives. And so we started meeting in the event center a little while, then in the Prism Center. In 2009, God gave us this property. We bought this land, but He opened the door. We built the building that you see now and moved in it in 2010. So we've been here about 12 years. And God has restored and just gave back everything the devil tried to steal out of our lives. And God is such a good God. And that's how Freedom Life Church was birthed. And God built the ministry. He's built us. He restored our lives. And that's why we know that Freedom Life Church is a place where people can find healing, where you can grow, where you can begin again in your life. And God's going to do great things. So we're excited about that. Our vision is to know God, find freedom, discover your purpose, and make a difference. You know, we believe here at Freedom Life Church that church is family. We do life together. We laugh together. We cry together. We support one another. Church is a spiritual home where the family of God meet together. And you belong here. There's a place for you. There's room for you. As I said, though, even more than room for you, there's a place where you can find freedom, know your calling, and become all that God has called you to be. Here at Freedom Life Church, we believe in love and truth. Love because God is love. His love draws us to Him. But we believe in truth because Jesus spoke the truth in love. And the truth sets us free. You know, here at the church, our vision still is to become a multicultural, multiracial church where we come together and worship together. We serve those that are in need. We minister healing to people through God's grace. And we find connection through life groups. We grow through the teaching of God's Word. We believe living a Spirit-filled life makes a generational impact in our world. I've talked about our church. I've talked about my wife and I and our family and our story. But listen, we can't wait to hear your story and how God brought you here. As I said earlier, there's room for you here. There's a place for you at Freedom Life Church. It's a place to be fed, to grow, and to serve together. And that's what we all are simply doing right now. That the people that are already here at the church, we're doing life together, helping people, meeting needs, and serving the Lord here in our church. And so, as we walk together doing that, Pastor wants to ask you to do one thing. Would you give God time to work in your life? Would you give Him time and submit yourself to the process of knowing God, finding freedom, discovering purpose, and making a difference? Because there is amazing value in you and in your life. And as you stay on this growth track, God's going to bring you to be everything He's called you to be. I want you to know Pam and I are praying for you. Our team is praying for you. The leaders are praying for you. And we're so excited to begin to do life with you, serving Jesus, lifting Him up in our city. God bless you. Have a great day.